This lesson summarizes the types of warnings you may come across on any flight. Some warnings are more serious than others, and it's important to recognize how critical each situation is. We will start by looking at how the ECAM can sometimes give you prior indication that a warning is about to happen in a mode that's known as the advisory mode. Then we will discover more about the levels of failures so that we're aware how the ECAM treats them. Next, we will cover priorities to understand that the ECAM system doesn't just throw any and every malfunction at the crew all at once. It sorts them and presents them according to a priority order. We will examine this priority and see what it means to the pilots. And finally, we'll look at some failures or parts of failures where you have to use the paper checklist, also known as the QRH, Quick Reference Handbook. We will look at some of the symbols and codes used in this reference book. The advisory mode is presented by the ECAM system when a monitored parameter drifts towards the edge of its normal range. The advisory mode has been triggered because the cabin differential pressure is approaching its upper limit. There is no warning triggered yet, but the cabin pressure page has been automatically called so that you can monitor the situation. Now the cabin differential pressure has increased another point and has reached its upper limit. The single chime is heard and the master caution push button lights. Now we have a level 2 failure and we're in failure mode. We'll learn more about this in the next topic. As we saw before, failures or malfunctions can be categorized in many ways. In order to deal with a failure efficiently, all failures are grouped into 3 different types. To refresh your memory, select a type to look at another example. When you're ready, select the forward arrow to continue. Here, engine 1 is a primary failure. This means that other items of equipment or systems are lost because of the faulty engine. These are all secondary failures which have been caused as a consequence of an engine 1 failure. The ECAM identifies them as secondary with the asterisk prefix. Here is an example of an independent failure. This is a failure of an isolated item of equipment or a system which does not affect any other equipment or system. Not to be confused with the types of warning are warning levels. This method of grouping warnings is only concerned with the severity of the failure. An understanding of both grouping methods will help you react better to any failure. We'll look at 3 warning levels. Select each of This is the most important and the highest level of warning, level 3. This indicates an emergency situation. The crew need to react at once and take immediate corrective action. Level 3 warnings are identified by the continuous repetitive chime or by a specific sound, which we'll look at in the next lesson. The title of the affected system is in red. A level 3 warning will take priority over any other level of warning. A level 2 warning results from an abnormal situation which has no direct impact on safety. There is no emergency situation, but the crew need to take corrective action as soon as possible. The ECAM identifies a level 2 warning by sounding a single chime, lighting the master caution push button, and showing the affected system with an amber title. A level 2 warning will take priority over a level 1 warning. A level 1 warning corresponds to an alert situation. Something has gone wrong. There is a malfunction, but the result of the malfunction has no effect on the flight. The ECAMs show the problem, but there is no audio. As you can see, the warning levels are, in fact, a priority system, with level 3 at the top and level 1 at the bottom. Let's look at more prioritizing by the ECAM. The ECAM system doesn't just determine which level to allocate to each failure. Within each of the 3 warning levels, there is a priority system with the most serious failures presented first. In this case, flight control is more important than ATS and anti-ice. Even with emergency, level 3 failures, there is a priority order. If, for example, you were dealing with a dual hydraulic failure and an engine fire was detected, the engine fire would take priority. Your ECAM displays would show the engine fire immediately. The right ECAM would also change from showing the hydraulic page to the engine page. Once you've dealt with the engine 1 fire and pressed the clear push button, the ECAM displays would automatically return to the hydraulic page. The QRH is used when no ECAM procedure is displayed or available, or when a QRH procedure is requested by the ECAM. Select the graphic of the QRH to see an example of a procedure in the QRH. As you can see, the QRH only appears in black and white and doesn't have the facilities for colour coding that the ECAM has. Therefore, it has to use other codes to indicate colour. Let's see what they are. Here are 2 procedures from the QRH. Select the one you think is a level 3 failure. Correct. Level 3 emergency procedures are indicated in the QRH by a black band on either side of the title. Let's look how other symbols and codes are displayed in black and white. The QRH lists all failure information, even that information which appears on the ECAM. It is shown as follows. ECAM procedures are marked by a continuous vertical line. Status displays are marked by a dashed vertical line. Beginning and end of ECAM displays are marked by respective horizontal lines. Text not shown on the ECAM will have no vertical line. Now let's look at a procedure where none of the steps appear on the ECAM. In this example, fuel pumps have failed, but the ECAM is unable to distinguish between the different cases of the centre, inner and outer tank. Boxed items like this mean that the items listed below them only need to be undertaken if the failure is due to that component, in this case, the tanks. Some symbols, such as the bullet for conditional statements, are similar to that on the ECAM. A square preceding an underlined statement indicates that the system cannot determine if the condition is true or not. In this case, one set of actions should be done if the fuel quantity is above 2,000 kilograms or 4,400 pounds, and another set of actions if the fuel quantity is below that. Such as this are never displayed on the ECAM and are presented in the QRH as additional information only. That completes our look at warnings and the failure mode. You'll have plenty of opportunity to practice using the ECAM later in the course. Some critical failures are dealt with in each ATA chapter, but first, some questions as usual.